You guys, there is so much in this Bible about idol worship. Maybe it's important. Maybe it's something that we need to reconsider. Okay, let's just read this part. Still in the wisdom of Solomon. Idolatry brings evil. Furthermore, it was not enough for them to be deceived about the knowledge of God, but they live in a great conflict of ignorance, and they call such evils peace. For they either hold child-murdering rites of initiation, or celebrate secret mysteries, or engage in the frantic revelry of special customs. Moreover, they keep neither life nor marriages pure, but one either kills another in ambush, or one causes another grief when he corrupts his marriage. Everything is mixed together: blood and murder, theft and treachery, depravity, unfaithfulness, tumult, perjury, confusion over what is good, ingratitude, corruption of family, breakup of marriages, disorder, adultery, and debauchery. For the worship of idols not to be named is the beginning, cause, and end of every evil. For either they are driven to a frenzy in their celebrations, or prophesy lies, or live unrighteously, or readily swear falsely. For since they trust in lifeless idols, they swear with wrong motives and expect to suffer no harm. But justice will catch up with them on 2 counts, because they thought wrongly about God in their devotion to idols, and by treating holiness with contempt, they swore unjustly in deceit. For it is not the power of making oaths, but the punishment of those who sin, that always prosecutes the transgression of the unrighteous. Well, let's keep going. How about that? Let's keep going. Because that was really dark, all right? So here's some hope. Our merciful God. But you, our God, are kind, true, patient, and govern all things in mercy. For even if we sin, we belong to you and know your might. But we will not sin, because we know that we are counted as belonging to you. For to know you is complete righteousness, and to know your might is the root of immortality. For neither have the evil practices of human art deceived us, nor a form stained with diverse colors. No comment, just keep on going. The barren labor of painting, whose appearance creates a desire in fools that longs for the lifeless form of a dead image. Lovers of evil things and fit for such blah blah blah. Lovers of evil things and fit for such objects of hope are those who either make or desire or worship them. So true. That's so true. Okay. Damn weather machine! Stop it! God. Oh, don't you love the weather machine? Oh. And we love those things, right? We love them. We love them so much. I always want to be sprayed. Wait, it went away. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. You don't know how to film anything, Amy. It's right there. It's right there. There it is. Okay. Where was I? Right there. Okay. Stay. Okay. Hi, Vortex. So we read the Bible on a pretty regular basis. If we miss a day, we definitely make up for it. And we just analyze it. And if we have any questions, we ask our priest. That's why we have a priest. We really don't like organized religion. So it's more than a bit ironic that we end up baptized into the Orthodoxy. But that has a lot to do with certain things being pushed on our society that we don't agree with. Okay, that was the whole reason why we were even the slightest bit interested in the Orthodox Church, but we just ended up falling in love with it. We love the way that they worship. I say they, like I'm talking about myself too, but I'm still a newbie. Very much a rookie as far as the Orthodoxy is concerned. But I'm not a rookie when it comes to, studying the world and spiritual things. I feel like I'm very aware of spiritual things. And reading what we just read, it makes sense, like, why this world is so messed up. It's like they look to deception for the answer. It's like they have an existential crisis, always and forever. And so instead of turning to God, which is something that will give them a sense of purpose and understanding and deeper meaning, they choose idols. They choose drugs. They choose celebrities, It's one thing to appreciate a piece of music. It's one thing to appreciate a drug. It's one thing to appreciate a piece of chocolate cake. It's another thing to revolve your life around that. And I see that a lot more than I don't. And I've always been a diehard fanatic when it comes to music. But I've never really idolized anybody. Like, I might have put them on a pedestal of creativity, but that's about it. I don't think that there's some kind of God all because they can play the guitar. Like, everybody has some sort of talent. It's just that artists make their talent more obvious. I think because of the conflict that they deal with that inspires them to become artists in the first place. Well, I don't think that you become an artist, but I think that you, come into your own as an artist. And I definitely see that transformation taking place with me, which is why it's so uncomfortable. Hairball, right? Lots and lots of hairballs. Well, it's very uncomfortable for me to do stand-up comedy in Nashville. And I've been doing it on and off for the past, 6 years, 7 years? I don't even know anymore. But I still really, really hate it. And I don't enjoy really any aspect of it. Even if it seems like I'm enjoying myself, I'm not. I would much rather be doing that in my car. I'd much rather be doing that in my room. I'd much rather be doing that on a picnic table at a park up the street from my house, at the Senior Citizen Center. See? This is where the real comedy's at, okay? But it's just really depressing to me because I don't think that a lot of people are trying. Because they're just, like I've said, excuse the vulgarity, but you probably don't do stand-up right now, okay? They're sucking the dick of the culture, dude. That's all they do is just, we love the culture. But the culture never comes. It doesn't, because it's not supposed to. Because this culture is death. Okay? If you think about it in relation to sex, and maybe I should talk about this on stage, because I think this would be an interesting topic, especially considering the fact that nobody
is capable of shutting up about sex. Well, whenever you come, so whether you ejaculate or, you have an orgasm or whatever happens down there, okay? Certain liquids are excreted, right? That's what happens, right? Okay, well, because of that, life is able to happen. And it's so crazy that people just do that nonchalantly, like it doesn't mean anything. Like, people just play with themselves, and they have no idea that, like, such an act can lead to life, And so, for that reason alone, it makes perfect sense why everybody is so miserable, and they're so nihilistic, and they're just running around in circles, whining about the same thing. It's because they don't understand their purpose. If they don't understand the purpose of sexual activity, they're not going to understand the purpose of anything else. And so naturally, they're going to put themselves in a position to be hurt. And when they do that, they're going to blame everybody but themselves. But the reason why they do that is because they don't know any better. If they had God guiding them along, they wouldn't do that. You know that whole saying of, like, stepping on people's toes? I heard this in an AA meeting a long time ago. Some crusty old timer that had like 20 years of sobriety. He very wisely made this statement, where am I putting my feet? And I think that's really important. It's like, we are so quick to jump to the conclusion that it was somebody else's fault. If we assume that it's always our fault, we'll never go wrong with that. Because even if it's not our fault, I said this in another video, even if it's not our fault, even if it's clearly somebody else, because we have self-awareness and we want to continue to better ourselves and to walk with God and be on this spiritual path. And I'm not saying beat yourself up. What I'm saying is, like, just, assume that the problem is always you. When you do that, it'll be very apparent when the problem isn't you. So if you take personal responsibility, always, you're never going to go wrong with that. Because you're always going to see little areas where you can improve yourself. And I think that the opposite is true. So if you're constantly blaming everybody but yourself, you're just going to remain the same sorry sack of shit. Okay? And I see that with comedy, people just aren't changing or growing or learning anything, But I guess it's not entirely their fault, though, because the audience that they're trying to adhere to is just as, futile. They're just as infantilized. So it's like all of these comedians are attempting to appeal to a totally infantilized, nihilistic crowd of people that don't know the purpose of sex. Okay? So I have to take these things into consideration. And I know I haven't been doing enough comedy for me to even declare that I'm going to take a break. Because I went to Cafe Coco this past weekend, and that was the first time I've been out in months. But that whole experience just reminded me that I really need to, like, work on my artistic side of, what I do. Because, like, I'm never going to be a comedian that just gets up there and goes. Like, I don't think it's possible for me. And I feel like I'm lying to myself. If it hasn't happened yet, it's probably not going to happen. But I'm very, very artistic, and I think that I need to, like, chase that rather than trying to do it the way that everybody else does it. I mean, what you see on YouTube and Rumble, that's not what I'm capable of on stage. Like, I don't know what it is. I think it might be my conscience, Like,
don't have it in me to yell at everybody. I don't. That's why I'm so mean on my channel, because these are things that I'll never say to people. Because there's no point in saying them, because those people are not going to be receptive. I'm not wasting my time, and I'm not wasting my energy, and I'm not going to get into an argument with somebody that doesn't believe in facts, okay? They don't believe in reading. They don't believe in paying attention to the world that they live in. Like, what is the point in getting into an argument with somebody that lives in a completely different world than you do, you know? They're convinced that colonialism is the reason why black people shoot each other in the projects, okay? They really, really believe that shit. So there's no point in having a conversation about race with people that are that fucking jaded in their worldview. And I'm not saying that colonialism doesn't have anything to do with it, but that's so condescending to just completely rob blacks of any and all personal responsibility and accountability for anything terrible that they do. And that also strongly suggests that they're all like that. And that's so shitty. It's so shitty on so many levels. But how many people make condescending remarks thinking that they're smarter for it? They say something that actually belittles another person and their humanity, robs them of their humanity by robbing them of their ability to make a mistake. And they think that they're doing the world good by saying these things and denying that bad people do bad things. So the more that denial runs rampant, the more ignorant people will just assume that everybody's like that. So when they say, oh, I'm against stereotyping, first of all, that's not true, because all they do is stereotype white people. They stereotype their own race. Allow me to do that, because I'm much better at dogging my race, honey. So much better. My race is so fucking stupid. They just take pills. They take pills for everything. They're so gullible. I feel like their concept of right and wrong is like completely skewed because of all this bullshit propaganda that they've been receiving for so long, that they just want to fit in, you know? They want to fit in. They don't want to be an outcast. They don't want to be called any names, because there's nothing worse than being called names, especially by people that, you know, don't know what gender is. Like, it's just terrible. It's the worst thing in the world. But yeah, man. If I make stereotypes and if I make, you know, bold declarations, first of all, you know, it's part of the art form to do that. But second, I'm a very fair person. I really am. You don't have to explain to me why you have a smartphone. I understand. Okay? There are financial reasons, environmental reasons. It's a lot easier. It makes things more convenient. That's true. I don't hold it against you. I just live by another standard. You know, I purposely make things difficult for myself, and people always get on to me about it. And not just about that, but like everything, dude. Like, I'm that person that takes the scenic route, you know? I would rather take the scenic route. I'd rather go the long way, because when you go the long way, you tend to have a deeper appreciation for things. So I would rather wait for what I want rather than get it automatically and not even appreciate it. And I'm not saying that you don't. What I'm saying is that I see that. Technology does not make things better. It just increases our dependence on everything but God, which is obviously demonic. But if you're a conscious person that understands that, I'm not talking to you. I mean, obviously, like, if you're defending yourself, then that means that, like, you have somewhat of a guilty conscience about it, you know? Like, guilty conscience. Conscience, I don't know. You have somewhat of a conscience about it, right? So you feel bad. because you know that it's not a good thing for society. But yeah, most people are not as lucky as you are, man. They succumb to the will of the serpent every time. Because if they didn't, they wouldn't fit in.